Voices for Circularity.
Technology by itself alone, it's never enough. It always depends on the human side of it. Its success always depends on that, on how people use it, how people adopt it and interact with it. So I think that this is a key point.
Why not we are going to use these digital tools in order to improve the circularity in the manufacturing sector? Why we are going to benefit from that advances, technical advances in those days? In the end, the ultimate goal is to have circular approaches in this sector. So we would like that at the end of the project, we see the companies truly embrace this tool that we are developing, take all the advantages that these tools can offer, and also create circular value chains, collaboration opportunities, circular synergies among different agents in the same sector, or even between different sectors. I think that this will be a quite good result at the end.
Hello and welcome to Voices for Circularity, a podcast where we will explore how data, digital tools, and real industry practice can make circularity easier to do and not easier to talk about. So in our first episode, we will introduce what is our project, DATA4CIRC, and the challenges that it addresses, the solutions that are being developed, and how all of this will be validated in real industry settings. And to guide us through, we are very happy to welcome Álvaro Andrés and Andrés Arias, the project coordinators from IDENER. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Marta. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Hello, thank you very much.
Thank you. So to start, I wanted to tell us a bit how the project idea began and how this project came to life.
So DATA4CIRC is a European funded project which main objective is to increase the competitiveness, at the same time improve the environmental impact and the sustainability of the manufacturing industry with the improvement of the circularity aspects in their value chains. So in order to do that, we would like to improve the adoption of circular strategies in order to also support the decarbonization. At the same time, we increase the competitiveness. Also, we use existing technologies because there are many of them now in the landscape, such as the digital product passport, in order to break the data silos that are existing currently. Also, in order to obtain more efficient data flow, improve the awareness in the manufacturing workforce with the adoption of a digital framework that will integrate this all innovation in terms of data and digitalization. At the end, we would like to have a great improvement in the adoption of these circular strategies. It is a technically complex project and it's challenging and ambitious, but we think that we are going to contribute positively to the manufacturing sector and also to the environment.
So as you were saying, sustainability and circularity, it's a term that we are starting to hear everywhere, especially as consumers. But from your perspective, what does circularity actually means and how to explain it to a normal person, let's say?
Well, circularity is indeed a broad concept that we hear everywhere nowadays, but it can refer both to an economic or business model or even to a design approach. But at its core, it aims to reduce the waste in manufacturing sector by keeping products, material, or even components in use for as long as possible. So it's not just about recycling, as so much people could think. Circularity is about creating value through the entire life cycle of a product and enabling the creation of closed loops in which resources are reused, refurbished, or even recovered, rather than the traditional take, make, dispose model in which we are producing a lot of waste and the things are like not so well used in the society as a whole.
And like you were saying, so the industry it has their own ideas, and of course it's something that is starting to change. But for you, what are the biggest blockers to make circularity happening in practice in industries?
Okay. So it's known that there is a big blocker, because if not, we will have circularity in many sectors. So in those terms, the major challenge is the high upfront cost, both in terms of time and also in terms of investment. So because we need to redesign some, in many cases, the production line, and also the proper design of the product we are going to manage. So, but beyond that, the complexity of the circular value chain is also a critical factor here, because we have many uncertainty in terms of what is the product that we will receive from past life cycle. So it's also another challenge, and it's at the same level of the upfront cost, this uncertainty. But for many organizations, the transitioning to circularity can feel like a stepping into the unknown, because there is many information that is missing, because we are not working with raw materials. So this is precisely what DATA4CIRC would like to come here in the technological landscape, where data-driven solutions are increasingly used to support the industrial management. So we will come here this usefulness of these digital tools, and we ask why not we are going to use these digital tools in order to improve the circularity in the manufacturing sector. Why we are going to benefit from that technical advances in those days. So DATA4CIRC address this challenge with solutions, like I said before, the digital platform, for example, integrating it to improve the product traceability and the material traceability to give us more information about the previous life cycle of the product. Also, we are going to use the digital models to simulate this life cycle in the past, and also predict what may be this life cycle in the future. Also, the artificial intelligence assisted LCA tool, the life cycle sustainability assessment, to evaluate the environmental impact that this product will have with this circular approach.
Well, I completely agree with you. It finally refers to what we have mentioned before, that it's the existence of digital technologies that could support this circularity in manufacturing. But as you correctly state, data silos still exist. So I would like to take that further by including another one of the biggest blockers that from my side is intrinsic to the circularity concept. And it's that for circular manufacturing, the collaboration between different actors in the manufacturing sector is required. And this is something that it's really tricky in an environment where data sharing between companies is not very secure and not so controlled from their side. So this is where we want to make a difference in the section by providing a secure data sharing ecosystem based on federated data spaces, so we can ensure that the companies have control and trust over the data sharing, which is very difficult nowadays to get finally. There are private companies that want to share data, but wants to protect their own interests and their knowledge. So the most important part is to ensure that it is secure. And furthermore, we want to add another value to the use of these secure data sharing ecosystems, and it's the integration of AI-enabled circular orchestration capabilities. So we can provide not only a secure ecosystem, but also an intelligent ecosystem that identify potential synergies between companies, so we can create new circular value chains or extend existing ones. So we think this is a good point here. And also, two of those biggest blockers are the data fragmentation and the lack of standardization, from which the data spaces also bring advantages to that field. Those are blockers both for collaboration and for the internal integration within the own companies. So incorporating semantic models, data threads, and so on, will enable more efficient integration into the landscape and the current systems that are in use. Also, the leveraging of existing standards and so on will guarantee the data interoperability, the future replication, and the uptake in the real industry.
it's interesting to see that you want to also bring different sectors from industry to collaborate together. And so if I understood correctly, so the project brings together 4 innovative elements. So we have the federated data space, the digital product passports, the digital models, and the AI-assisted life cycle assessment. So I wanted also to explore a little bit of these concepts and challenge you to explain in a way that we can understand it. So first we have the federated data space that you were exploring, and what makes it different from just putting data in the cloud, and how you are exploring it in the project.
Well, data spaces are not just about storing data, are about the control and the trust that it gives to its users. Finally, in a federated ecosystem like the one we are proposing, the main point is that sharing data doesn't mean that the companies give it away. They can keep their data into its own systems, but and control who can access it, under which conditions, and for what purposes. So we give them not only the security and the trust that it gives to the data, but also the control that what is happening with their data. So I think that this is the key point that we are bringing to the fore here. In our case, we propose this federated data space with another security layer that is based on the zero trust security model and encryption-based data contracts. So we can provide that data governance layer that democratize the access to this data and ensure that only authorized parties can access that data and that this data always remains trustworthy. Also, as I said before, another important aspect of these data spaces are the interoperability. As they are built around common standards and semantic models, different companies and tools could work together, could share data efficiently. I think that this is essential for the digital transformation and, most importantly, for making the collaboration practical rather than just theoretical.
Okay, great. And regarding the digital products passports, what will be people interacting with? So is it a data sheet? It's a QR code just to, I think that most of the listeners already heard something about what is the digital product passport, but just to explore a bit of what the project is developing.
Okay, so the digital product passport, I hope that this is a tool that we will hear a lot in the future, because it will apply in the European Union in many sectors. It's just like the identity card of a product. It's the digital record attached to a product, and in the practice we will have this digital product passport in different forms, like a sheet or a QR code, or simply an information tool that we can access when we want to know more information about the life cycle of the product. Here, it's this digital product passport acts as a single trust source of information about the product, and will help us to increase the trustability of the material and the components, including the materials, the composition, and also information from the life cycle of this product in the past, for example, and also know information about how this product can be processed at the end of life of the product, etc. So at the end, we will have relevant information about, and also updated information about the product, the status, and also past information about the life cycle. At the end, in the project will act as a vehicle to use the information and increase data collection and traceability.
Quite interesting. And regarding the digital models and digital twins, where do they actually add value in this circular value chains that we are developing in the project?
Well, they really add value by making circularity measurable and predictable rather than just theoretical. But I think that the key point here is to define what we are actually talking about. In our project, we have 2 main components: digital threads that acts as the connective tissue, gathering data across all the life cycle at every stage of the process, and then the digital twins that build on that foundation to build a virtual living representation of a process, product, or even the entire value chain, and then to simulate how they will behave over the time. So together they allow companies to monitor, analyze, and simulate key aspects of their organizations or their processes, giving the workforce much better visibility, understanding, and control over the value chain. And on top of that, our main approach also includes what-if simulation capabilities that enables the companies to test, for example, I don't know, material selections or changes into the process, so they can test it before implementing them in the real world. It's all saving time and resources and eliminating the guesswork. Overall, these tools support better planning, reduce uncertainty, and help companies make better decisions and guided decisions that improve circular performance while reducing the costs and the risk that they take into integrating these circular strategies into their processes.
Great. Another term that we were exploring is the life cycle assessment, and what it is in simple terms for our listeners, this term.
Okay, so regarding the implementation of the circularity, we have to have in mind also the impact in the environment. We have talked about the reduction of time, the cost of the companies, but we have also to think about the environmental impact. So this environmental impact assessment is what we are going to use to measure this impact of a product in the entire life cycle. In simple terms, it's take all the processes that the product suffer to be produced and then used, and then also treat in the end of the life. Thinking about what is the environmental impact of this each of these processes in the life cycle of a product. So then can have like a traceability in terms of environmental impact with this life cycle assessment, from the extraction of the raw material to the end of use and the end of life strategy of the product. So at the end, this life cycle assessment that is called commonly LCA, and we will help us to have an idea of the environmental impact and what is the environmental improvement of linear value changes to the final circular value changes that we will have in the project. And also it will ask together with the tools of the projects, the digital models that Andres has explained, and also the digital product platform that we explained before also, to collect this information and also making the LCA analysis much more accurate at the end. And also you have the objective end-to-end life cycle assessment, because we also are considering this circular approach. This is not a common linear end-of-life strategy. We have considered this circularity, and we have all the information also including even to take the end of use, end of life product, reintroduce in the value chain with different techniques, remanufacturing, recycling, etc. So we have a very complete assessment of this environmental impact.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how the project is exploring all these concepts. When it comes to the AI, so what does the AI changes here in terms of concepts? So the speed, the accuracy, or the ability of comparing designs? What is exploring the project when it comes to this concept?
Okay, it's true that we have talked about the environmental impact and like a common analysis, but in the common scenarios, we need the expertise of an LCA expert to analyze this life cycle and the environmental impact that each steps of this life cycle have in the at the end of the product as a whole. So here we take the artificial intelligence as a very powerful tool to use to take the data gaps that can be found in this analysis and try to overcome them, like assuming the values, the impact that we will have thanks to the training AI models to help us to give a more accurate estimation of the environmental impact of a product. So at the end, we will have more accurate predictions thanks to artificial intelligence. And this tool will facilitate the environmental friendly decision making in the manufacturing sector, because we will don't require this LCA expertise to have final result of this analysis, we just to use this AI-based tool to give us more or less accurate estimation and now take the decision that are more environmental friendly.
Now, I think now in terms of concepts, our non-technical listeners will appreciate how you explore and demonstrate what are these concepts and how they are important in the industry. I wanted to start talking about proof and understanding how the project and how will these developments actually be demonstrated in practice. So I wanted to look to them very briefly because the project is exploring different sectors like you were exposing. What is the real change and how does this data improve the recycling and the traceability in terms of practice, let's say?
Here, this is the summary of the use cases that we will have in the project to give us an overall idea of the concept that we have in mind, and also how we are going to demonstrate the tool.
Mm-hmm. Well, the whole idea here is to leverage our strong set of industrial partners to test our solutions across different sectors. As you currently stated before, the main sectors that we are using are the agricultural plastics, the electronics, and the mobility ones. In our case, the interesting thing here is that although we have quite a complex environment with a lot of industries, all of the industries have the same challenges that remain at the bottom of them, and they allow us to test circular strategies among them. Also, the good point of our demonstration is that each of the use cases have a different level of circularity, ranging from the creation of a new circular value chain, extending an existing one, or even exploit it. So we can test our solutions across different scenarios and across different preparedness levels. So I think this is interesting. But despite their differences, they demonstrate how DATA4CIRC can contribute to enhance the circularity, to make it easier, to make it a practical reality, and how our digital tools could improve the workforce abilities to perform it.
Absolutely.
So just to have an overview, so basically the project is using use cases to explore all these sectors, correct?
Yes.
So you have
our intent is to leverage as much information as possible from different sectors. So we don't test it in a controlled way, for say it in one way. We want our solutions to work across all the industries, across all the manufacturing sector that could leverage them into their industrial processes. So it isn't worthy if we only test them in one sector, that it's narrow the concept. Our intent is to make it as broad as possible and as reusable as possible for all the manufacturing industry.
And of course, it can expand a lot of what the project is exploring and how it can develop also and to create the final products for our consumers as well.
Yeah.
So from what you have described, the project is not just about technology, how you can ensure that you are making tools that are going to be useful for the sector and for the workforce that is connected with industry.
Well, at the end, technology by itself alone, it's never enough. It always depends on the human side of it. Its success always depends on that, on how people use it, how people adopt it and interact with it. So I think that this is a key point in each development or technological design, that it's thought for the people, not for a company that is so close. So that's why DATA4CIRC takes a human-centered approach, involving end users through co-creation and co-validation activities across all the projects. So we ensure all the tools cover their needs, their expectations, and their experiences. So it fosters a smooth integration into the real industrial sector and in the industrial workflows that they are already in place. And on top of that, we are on an upskilling and reskilling program to help the manufacturing workforce these digital tools, not just during the project, but long after the end. So we can make it easy for them to use it and to have a real impact on the world. The goal is to make circularity and digital practices part of the everyday workflow. So the benefits are practical, lasting, and measurable at the end.
Interesting. And for you, this project is for what targets and who are we addressing in terms of results as well?
So the answer of this question is more or less easy because at the end, we think that all of us will be involved in circular economy because it's what the current situation in the world let us know this because this the necessity of reduce the waste and also take care of the resources that we have in the world. So these projects will be for everyone. Not only in the manufacturing sector, which is the main field in which we apply, but at the end, all citizens can also use these tools. At the end, as the manufacturing sector is the field in which we are going to demonstrate, we will consider all the actors in the value chain, from manufacturers to circular companies like recyclers, for example, and also involve other industrial stakeholders and also even policymakers. It's quite broad. The key concept here in DATA4CIRC is to provide the tools that are practical and that help stakeholders to work together to more in a more efficient way, and also try to create circular value chains because in many sectors it is possible. Just it's a matter of keep in touch one company with another to involve and materialize these circular synergies. So if you are involved in the design of a product or manage some materials or conduct some circular processes, this project is a relevant topic for you, and it will give you many tools to improve and increase circularity in the real world in your specific field and sector.
And this is important to an important takeaway that circularity and the concepts of the project are connected with all of our daily lives and not just industry, let's say. We are close to the end of our episode, and I wanted before to wrap it up, if we could also have some conclusions from your side as project coordinators. And I wanted to understand if you can share one thing that you hope that will be different by the end of the project.
Well, for my side, by the end of the project, I hope we will see circularity becoming a practical reality rather than just an idea as it is now. I would like to see companies using data-driven tools every day to make better decisions and reduce waste and contribute to a greener Europe.
Yes, I think that it's key to have in mind that at the end, the ultimate goal is to have circular approaches in this sector. So we would like that at the end of the project, we see the companies truly embrace this tool that we are developing in the project and take all the advantages that these tools can offer, and also create circular value chains, collaboration opportunities, circular synergies among different agents in the same sector, or even in between different sectors. I think that this will be a quite good result at the end.
We do hope that we can change minds with the project and that we accomplish some key results. So thank you very much, Álvaro and Andres, for your contributions and to help us exploring a little bit more of what is the project and what is coming with our next episodes. So please stay tuned for more. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us, Marta.
Thank you very much. It has been
you.
a pleasure. Goodbye.
Thank you.